Alright, YouTube, we're back, of course, talking some Final Fantasy IX. We have another update in regards to this animated series we've been talking about a lot here lately. What we have is an update to one of the specific offers. If you go back to the video we did previously, there's 4 offers from, different companies or whatever. And one of them was Solent, which was like, if you go to the article we looked at, the kid screen article, the very last offer was from Solent, and there wasn't much information on it. We just had like a little bit of information on the company itself, that they were like a live action studio that was kind of transitioning into animation back in 2022. I guess we're just wanting to acquire Cybergroup. But I actually had somebody comment on the previous video with an update to Solent's specific offer, like a very recent offer as of a month ago. And I guess YouTube was like filtering out their comment for some reason. I don't really know why, because I try to allow any kind of comments on my channel. But they ended up having to contact me on Discord to actually give me the information. So shout out to them. Speaking of which, I do have a Discord. It's been in the description of my videos for a very long time. If I'm honest, I don't really use it. I did see pulling it up to contact this person that have had quite a few people join. I think like 20 or so people have joined just this year alone, which is kind of interesting since it's a platform I don't really use. But it's there if you want to like join my Discord, I guess. But I can't promise I'll always be checking it. Anyways, the offer we have from Solent is kind of interesting. It's a big PDF file of like 30 pages or so. A lot of it doesn't really matter to us, right? But there's like monetary stuff here, which isn't necessarily the focus. I don't really care too much about that. It's kind of interesting to look at, I guess. But what is interesting is there is some other information that's pretty important, I would say, in terms of the 9 animated series. That's kind of the focus, obviously. That's all we really care about for the most part. With like episode count and episode length. So right here on this page, we have the different offers so far for Cybergroup Studios. Now, the bottom 4 on the 17th of December are the ones we talked about in the previous video. And then the top 2 are actually Solent. So Solent's on here like 3 different times. So they definitely are wanting, it seems like more than the other companies, to acquire Cybergroup Studios. But their offer is actually pretty bad. For one, their initial offer on the December 18th document was 10,002 euros, which is just like an insulting amount. For starters, with that initial offer, they're offering 5,000 euros for their entire catalog, which seems to be a lot of different shows. And we know Gigantosaurus is very, very popular, so that just seems like an insulting amount. And then 5,000 euros for their like in-progress works, right? So the 9 animated series. Their second offer they give on February 25th is much better, but even that offer is still very, very low compared to one we've looked at before. I'm not really sure what that initial offer was of 10,000 euros, right? Like that's just like such a low amount, especially when this is like a company that's going bankrupt potentially. They're kind of going under. They owe seemingly over $1 million to creditors based on the United Smile offer. So what the hell is 10,000 euros going to do for them? It's just nothing. And I don't know if maybe they thought nobody else was bidding for the company. I don't know, but it's just a weirdly low number. So as you can see here with the more recent offer from February this year, they're offering 157,993 euros, which is 105,500 euros for the catalog and 52,000 euros for their in-progress works. So definitely a much better offer than their initial 10,000 euro offer, but it's still pretty damn low. Because as we looked at with the previous video, the United Smile kind of collaboration offer between the different companies and shit, they're offering multiple millions, right? It's over like a course of time, but still they're offering like 1.5 million to pay off their creditors, the people that they owe money to, and then like 3.5 million for their current projects and future projects, and specifically wanting to complete the financing on the 9 animated series. Like this is, again, as I talked about in the previous video, by far the best offer. So while the second offer from Solent was like a better offer, it's not even close to this offer. Like this is, if you're a company that's on the verge of going under, like this is by far the best offer. Like, so I don't know why they would take any other offer unless. So here's where we get some interesting info, right? Because this is the money they want to put into the ongoing projects. And you can see the top, they're offering 15,000 euros for 3 different shows, which is the Make Fire Company, no idea what that is, the 4th season of Gigantosaurus, and then also for Final Fantasy IX. But you can see that there's a duration tab, which seems to be episodes and episode length, potentially. Which in the case of Final Fantasy IX, it would be 8 episodes at 22 minutes. Unless it's the reverse for some reason of 22 episodes in 8 minutes, which I doubt that's the case, right? Which gives us an idea of what, I guess, the show would be, or maybe the first season of the show would be, which is a little bit interesting. Now, I don't know for sure if this is like an offer of theirs, as in like this is what we'll fund of that show, or if this is like the actual length of the show from like Cybergroup Studios' end, right? As in, from their perspective, they're always going to do, 8 episodes at 22 minutes, or if, again, this is just what Solent's, like, offer is or something like that. But it's pretty interesting, because that's, like, pretty normal for streaming, if you think about it. A lot of shows do, like, 8 episodes. I think of, like, shows on Netflix, shows on, like, Amazon, like The Boys or something. That's, like, 8 episodes usually. And 22 minutes is a normal episode length for something that's on, like, regular TV, generally, like the 30-minute blocks, right? If you factor in, like, commercial breaks, a show's usually about 22 minutes. Probably a little bit different for streaming, I guess. I don't know what the actual length of, cartoon shows are for kids on streaming, but that's pretty normal for at least regular TV. If we come back to this page really quickly, too, like the offers on the right, I assume are for the entire, like, season or the entire show if it's only got the one season. And they seem kind of low, right? Because if we're looking at 15,000 euros for just the Final Fantasy IX IP, And that's meant to like fund the show, I guess. Like that's less than 2,000 euros per episode, right? If we're doing 8 episodes at 15,000 euros, that's not that much money. Admittedly, I don't know what like animated shows cost to make per episode or whatever, but that just seems kind of low if that's what it is. Now maybe it's possible that it's 15,000 euros per episode, but I think that wouldn't that be equated into their initial offer of the 150,000 euros or whatever? Wouldn't it like that'd be a lot higher of a number, right? If they're doing 15,000 per episode of any of these shows. So I assume it's the total offer for like Final Fantasy 9 and the 4th season Gigantosaurus and whatever. Again, which seems very low to me. I tried to look into like what it might cost, per episode for an animated series, and I came across an article from Animation Iconic. And in the article, they talk about like low budget, mid budget, and high budget series and what those may cost. And even on the low end of things, it tends to cost around like $10,000 per episode. So again, that less than 2,000 euros potentially per episode is very low. I fully expect them to take a different offer here, but if, Cybergroup Studios were to take this offer from Solent, that would obviously not be good. Like, if they were very cheaply made episodes, that's not something we want. I don't expect it to be like, $1 million per episode or some shit. But I want it to be of decent quality, right? And if it was like less than, 2,000 euros per episode, it'd be probably pretty shit. Not to say that you can't make like a good animation for a little money, because you certainly can, right? But just in terms of like a company, a business that's trying to make an animated series, we don't want it to be cheaply made. Anyways, the main takeaway from this for me, though, is the episode count, episode length. I'm assuming that's from Cybergroup's perspective, like what they want to do with the show, and this is like what their offer is, 15,000 euros or whatever. So that gives us an idea of what the show is, and we know there's supposed to be like, was it like 2 different arcs, right? Where we're following like particular kids and like their friends or whatever doing something over here, and then the other arc is like a different set of Vivi's kids traveling doing something else, right? I'd have to like pull up the goddamn thing that we looked at however long ago. But maybe they do something with the show, like half of those episodes is following one arc and the other half is following another arc, or maybe like a couple episodes for one kid, a couple episodes for the other kids, and then like the last couple episodes are all together or something. I don't know how they do it exactly, but it would seem like the show is going to be 8 episodes, 22 minutes. I'll be honest, I never thought it'd be this kind of like dedicated to covering what is seemingly a children's show. I mean, it's Final Fantasy 9 related. That's why we're following it at all. That's why I give a shit at all. But it is seemingly geared towards kids, especially with the animation style that we've seen with the images or whatever. But it's, pretty interesting, something to talk about, something FF9 related, which is exciting. And, I'd rather have this than nothing, because I don't know if we're ever going to see the goddamn 9 remake. Does that exist? Is that real? Where's the leaks on that shit? So, of course, if there's any other updates in the future, we'll definitely cover it. If you guys come across anything, be sure to let your boy know, whether that's in the comments or I guess on Discord, if I happen to check Discord. We'll definitely cover any kind of interesting bits leading up to like the acquisition of Cybergroup Studios and any kind of official information on the show itself. Either way, though, my dudes, that is the video. Subscribe to channel if you guys are new. Social networks in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, @DaveYT. That's it. Bye.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more. And nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Logain, or leave it like Cobain.